If this is the first time you're listening to the Wealthy Wednesday show, please remember to subscribe and click on the like button. Are you ready to change your money flow? Would you like to get beyond the six figures that you keep bumping up against? Well, let me tell you, my book, Magical Money Manifestations, is going to help you create money manifestations on autopilot so that you will have more money, more freedom, and more joy in your life. Go to magicalmoneymanifestations.com to find out more information. Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday show. I am your host, Luci McMonagle. Women are recreating the rules for business, leadership, money, and they are changing the world in the process. Each week, join me for empowering messages and interviews that will inspire, motivate, and transform you. Giving a special shout out to Gordon Weary for creating the custom music that you are listening to now. Now, let's get started. Hey, this is Luci McMonagle, the Mystic Wealth Creator, and I mentor mystic entrepreneurs to create more freedom in their business through conscious wealth creation so they can make a big impact in the world and leave a legacy. I truly believe that when we fully accept our mystical powers and use them as entrepreneurs, we will accelerate the transformation of the world, bringing about peace and harmony so that we can free individuals who are hungry and we can slow down the poverty and war. So today I have an incredible entrepreneur that's going to help you with lacking time. She's going to help you get more time so that you can actually start working on your business and really making the strive so you can scale up. She is Sandi Evans, and she is the author of Real Bosses Delegate, Hiring the Right Virtual Assistant for Your Business, and that was released in 2016. So we are going to be talking about how she helps you leverage your social media to land more clients. We're going to be talking about how to start building your dream team, and we're going to be talking about how to balance your entrepreneurship, your business, your work, your family, because as a woman entrepreneur, you can have it all, but sometimes you can't have it all at once. So Sandi, welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Wow, you are such an inspiration to so many individuals, and you empower people so that they can have more time freedom, so they can create more financial freedom. Can you tell us a little bit on you and your book, and how do you bring this beautiful gift to the world?
Absolutely. So as an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have 3 children. So right now, my youngest just turned 6. And then I have an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old. So yes, they are like in the entire gamut of everything, as far as age groups and everything go. So I learned through more error and trial how to figure that out because, when you're trying to build an empire and leave a legacy for your children and, be the best mom you can be and be the best wife you can be and still be sane all at the same time, it is so overwhelming.
Yes.
So once I started to figure some things out and find out what worked best for me dealing with clients and dealing with my business in general, I saw what a great need there was for it because I know that I am not the only person that is struggling trying to balance and juggle and wear a million hats and everything. And as women, we are super, absolutely, but we try to be superwoman and we try to do everything and be everything to everyone. And it just creates overwhelm, it creates a burnout, and then it's just like you're no good to anyone, if you can't feed into yourself, and if you can't find that balance. So my goal and my vision was to help fellow entrepreneurs in being able to balance those things, and in being able to have what it is that you want and what it is that you desire, both in personal and professional life.
Wow. And that's so important for women entrepreneurs, because we have more women entering the entrepreneurship now than ever before in history. And it's exciting, but we're also changing the entire way that business was once done, because we're about collaboration, we're about nurturing, and we're about really getting things done. Where the former paradigm, not that it was right or wrong, but it was more about competition and who could top who and how we could move forward. But now we're moving into a period where we as women who have been super women have to learn how to delegate and automate certain tasks. Could you tell us on how would a woman who's as a superwoman and she's ready to really start scaling up on our business, how would she automate her business like a boss?
Well, I say the first thing that you have to do is have a good foundation. Because like with anything, if you don't have the foundation set, everything else is going to crumble thereafter. So when I say foundation, I mean have some good systems and some processes in place for what your daily operations look like. And then from there, you take a look at what you can actually set up to be automated. And I always say, let's start with the most time-consuming things. Emails are one of the most time-consuming tasks of the day. Calendar management, one of the most time-consuming tasks of the day. Like, imagine when you're scheduling appointments, you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to email so-and-so, we're going to schedule a lunch. And you send out an email to them and you're like, okay, well, hey, let's meet Thursday at 4. And they're like, I can't do Thursday at 4. I can do Wednesday at 2. And you're like, well, I've got an appointment at 2, but I'm available this day. And before you know it, there's been a whole chain of emails trying to schedule one lunch, and you spent 30 minutes trying to get something scheduled. Well, that's one of those things that you absolutely positively want to automate. And there are, different scheduling systems from free to paid that will assist you with that, so that it's a matter of, okay, I would love to meet with you. I'd love to chat and let's do lunch. Here's a link to my calendar. Book a time that works best for you. And then it's one and done, and that's one thing that is off of your plate. Because if you sit and say, okay, well, I do 5 consultations in a day, or I do, 3 podcast interviews in a day, you have to sit and calculate that time and see where is your time going, and free up as much of that as possible so that you can focus on the actual income generating tasks of your business. So calendar management is an awesome one. Email automation is an awesome one, because how many emails come through that you tend to ignore, emails that you look at and you flag them. Like, I was the famous flagger, okay? I'm like from the Outlook generation. So everything that was important, I would flag it and say, I'm going to come back to it, right? But then what happens? You come back and you got 25 flags, right? Of things that you need to go back and address. And a lot of times you haven't even responded to that person, and you look up and it's like, oh my gosh, a whole 24 hours has gone by and I haven't even responded to this email at all. So a great way to remedy that is to set up an auto response that says, thank you so much for emailing me. I have received your email and I will respond back to you as quickly as possible within 24 hours, whatever the case may be, so that your customer or your client does not feel like you are ignoring them. They have been acknowledged, and then you can actually go back and do that follow-up.
Yes, that's a fabulous idea. I've used autoresponders on my emails when I'm on vacations. It never occurred to me to just have it automatically recurring over and over again. And the calendar system, online calendar systems, have pretty much saved me hours upon hours upon hours. And it's easy. You give them a link, and there you are. And they pop up on your calendar and you're like, yes. So that really helps. But we also, as women entrepreneurs, we also really need to look at how do we receive help? How do we start building our dream team so that we can scale up our business? Do you have some tips and strategies that individuals can use on how to build a team that will help them create the business that they desire?
Absolutely. There are so many ways to do it, and that is the beauty of technology. I'm all about virtual teams because, I'm not going to date myself, but some time ago, it was like if you wanted somebody to help you within your business, you had to go through a whole hiring process. You had to bring them into the office, and then you've got to deal with the whole training situation. You've got to deal with the whole time management and that you're dealing with, okay, well, now I have to pay you for 8 hours a day, or I have to pay you for 4 hours a day, regardless as to whether I actually need you for those whole 4 hours, or whether you're working those full 8 hours, because, let's be real, we've all been in corporate at some point in our lives, and you didn't spend all 8 of those hours in a work day. There was some water cooler talk. There was a lot of bathroom breaks if you were anything like me and didn't like being at your desk, and time gets wasted. Well, now you have the opportunity where you can build that team, even if you are on a strict budget, through virtual assistants that will help you and support you in your business. And it's not just about, administrative tasks, which so many people hear the word VA or they hear the word virtual assistant and they think administrative. Oh, well, they're just going to be able to, do filing, or they'll just be able to answer the phone, or whatever the case may be. Virtual assistants are literally assistants that can help you with all aspects of your business. You have virtual assistants that do bookkeeping, that do web design, that do funnels and email marketing, like everything, every component to your business. There is a VA for that, just like what is that commercial you used to say, there's an app for that. There's a VA for everything that you can possibly think of. And you can fit it into your budget because you're only paying for the service that you need. So if you've got a launch coming up, you have a book release, you've got a project that is just overwhelming you, guess what? You hire a virtual assistant, they knock that project out for you. You can focus on something else. And once the project is done, so are they. If you need them again, you hire them again. But if you don't, you're not wasting money. It's not an ongoing expense. So if things get a little slow and you're like, okay, well, you don't have to go through the whole hiring, firing, laying off thing. It's like, okay, well, I don't need a VA this month because this is my slow season. So I won't need a VA this month. And you go back and you hire one again during your busy season. It is the absolute best of both worlds. But when you're doing it, as far as delegation, again, it goes back to that foundation. The best way to start building your team is to have that foundation in place. Have those daily operating procedures in place. You should absolutely have like a standard operating procedure of what your day looks like, because it's easy a lot of times for you to sit down and say, okay, well, this is how I work my day on a regular basis, and you just go on autopilot. But when you have to tell someone else what something looks like, it's like, wait, okay, how do I do that? What do I do? I'm not really sure. So you have to have some sort of procedure in place so that you can effectively delegate to someone else. Because if you are in chaos and you're just flying by the seat of your pants, it's no way possible that anybody is going to be effective in helping you, because you don't have any strategies for your day. You have no plan to your day. So I always say start with the system, start with processes. And then the best things for you to delegate is the secret. Delegate the stuff that does not generate you income. If it does not make you money when you're doing it, it's probably something that you should start to look at with delegation. Because we want to delegate the non-income generating tasks because we're the boss, right? We are bosses. And In my world, in my business, I always say bosses are business owners strategically succeeding, right? So
Yes.
when I say strategically, you have to have a strategy in place in order to be successful. And that strategy for me is to be working more on your business than you're working in it. So if what you're doing is not making you money, somebody else should be doing that. It shouldn't, you should not be, responding to emails all day. You should not be filing paperwork or following up, looking for contracts or following up with invoices. Those things, although they are necessary to your business and they're necessary for you to actually keep things running, those are administrative tasks, those are daily operating tasks, but those are not income generating tasks. So those are things that you want to start to look at, hiring somebody else to help you out with. The other thing that I always say, if you hate doing it, delegate it.
Yes.
And it is twofold. Number one, we don't want to do it anyway. So what happens when you don't want to do something? I hate doing the bookkeeping. I do not like it. I look at my books, I review my P&L sheets, but I hate actually doing bookkeeping. And I did it for the first year of my business. And what I would do is push it off. I set a date for it. Okay, Fridays are my day to do bookkeeping. But when Friday came, I found every excuse in the book not to do the bookkeeping. I found a million other things that I had to do instead of bookkeeping. And then when the end of the year came, it's like everything was a mess and I had to scurry and put everything together in order to have my taxes prepared because I kept putting it off. So what happens when you find something that you don't want to do, you end up delaying it. And then when you do actually sit down and do it, it takes you forever because it's not something that you enjoy. It's not something that you want to do. And although we all have those components in our life and in our business where everything is not peaches and sunshine and you have to do things that you don't want to do, we are, for the most part, in business because what we do is what we love. So if you don't love doing it, if you hate doing it and it's going to take you forever to do it anyway, why not pay somebody that loves bookkeeping that will do it in a fraction of the time, and you can focus on something else. You can focus on going and landing that new client. You can focus on working on that new product or that new service and actually bringing in more money to scale the business.
Wow. And that's really important. There's so many entrepreneurs that believe that you can only hire a permanent VA instead of just hiring somebody for just this project or just this project or somebody to take care of these items. It becomes overwhelming. And knowing that you can hire somebody for just a project, they know it's temporary, you know it's temporary, and they're working for a lot of other people, so you're not providing them with their income to sustain their family, then it becomes more easier.
Absolutely.
Wow. So when we're learning how to start balancing, now we're starting to delegate some of the tasks, we're starting to let go of some of the micromanagement. How do you start balancing a business and a job?
Now, when I started Carter Evans Services, I was working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working full time. I had, at that moment, 2 of my children and my husband. So it was definitely a balancing act, but you have to come up with a plan that works best for you. Depending on what your business is, it could be something as simple as a time zone. With my company being a virtual assistant company, well, if I'm working from 9 to 5:30, then guess what? If I go and find, and I'm on the East Coast, if I go and find clients that need a virtual assistant that are on the West Coast, then guess what? I can still operate during certain hours after I come home, and my business still runs, and I'm able to balance those. I'm able to still have clients and not be missing in action for 8 hours out of the day. So it's all a matter of working around what your business is and what works best for you. But I always say, and although I am not a morning person, don't think I will ever be a morning person, start early. The earlier that you start your day, the more successful you will be. Because you're starting when everybody else is asleep. Nobody is going to tug on you, asking you for snacks. Nobody is sending you emails, bright and early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Your emails are not chiming. The phone is not ringing. You're not trying to work at your actual job. So those are the times that you can actually sit and focus and work quietly and work peacefully. And when you are in that atmosphere, you can actually be more productive and get more done. When I was working in corporate and operating the business, those hours from 5 o'clock to 6:30 was probably it was the most productive hour of my entire day. Like, I don't think I get that much done in an hour right now that I'm not doing it, because like I said, it's nothing going on, it's nothing going on for work. It's nothing going on for business. It's nothing going on with the kids. It's just time for you to focus on what it is that you need to focus on. So you have to come up with a schedule and a plan, and you actually have to stick to and work that schedule and that plan. It's all about time management is the biggest key with balancing a job and balancing your actual business. It can be done. It is hard. Yes, it requires a lot of hours. Yes, but it is absolutely doable if you create that schedule, if you are managing and intentional with your time. Intention is key. You have to be intentional with every hour of your day, and realize that time is really not your friend in that respect. So you have to appreciate the time that you have, manage it to the fullest, and don't waste any of it.
That's really important. And to really understand that there's some of the entrepreneurs that are listening to us today, they're in that predicament where maybe they're stepping out of corporate and they're moving into entrepreneurship, but they have these fears and they're not sure how they're going to schedule it or balance it. Do you have some tips or strategies on how to overcome that fear of stepping out of the corporate world or out of a job and into entrepreneurship?
I had those fears, and to be perfectly honest, my fear was not taken away from me. I was pushed out of it, and I say that all the time. There's always a plan for you and for your life, and I sat complacent in the fact that I had a bi-weekly paycheck. So although I was making money in my business, and I didn't realize how much money I was making in my business until I was doing it full time. But I always thought in the back of my mind, if this doesn't work, then I'm still going to get paid as long as I go to work, right? What if I lose a client and then I won't have any money? And that is one of the reasons I'm like, I have a family to take care of, So even though my husband works full time, we are a 2-income household. So I'm like, I have to have this income, and it is frightening. But if you operate in fear, you will never reach your fullest potential. So for me, it's just one of those things where you have to step out on faith, not jump off a bridge, but step out on faith with a plan, and make sure that that plan is efficient and effective for your family and for your lifestyle. Start with something as simple as a budget. You have to sit and look and say, how much money do I need to sustain, my family and my lifestyle? And start there. How much are your monthly expenses? And then figure out from there, what can I cut out of those monthly expenses? Because it's not easy. It's hard going from corporate to business and full-time entrepreneurship. And it is very well worth it, but there are peaks and valleys to it. So there are going to be times where you're going to have to cut something out and say, in my case, oh, no shoes this month. I don't get to go shoe shopping this month. Or, that vacation that we're used to taking with that 2 weeks paid vacation, we're not going to be able to take that the first year of the business. So take a look and see what expenses it is that you can cut out of that budget, and then plan towards what you need in order to maintain that particular budget? What does the income look like within your business for you to be able to meet at least those household expenses? So does it mean that you have to have five ongoing clients? Does it mean that you have to sell, X amount of dollars in products? What does that look like? Map it out, write the vision so that you know exactly what it is that you have to do in order to sustain yourself, because you don't want to jump out and say, oh my goodness, the Lord spoke to me and said I should quit my job. Okay, well, do you have some savings in your account to account for that? Because at the end of the day, life is life, and if you don't have money to pay the gas and electric bill, you won't have any. If you don't have money to pay the rent or the mortgage, then you'll be out on the streets, and nobody is going to care one way or the other what's going on within your personal life, or that you just started off on this entrepreneurial journey when it comes time for the 1st or the 15th or whenever that bill is due. So I always say, if you can, start with at least a 3-month reserve, and then map out what your budget is going to be as far as your household expenses, and what it is going to take for you to be able to maintain those household expenses. How many clients, how many products, what kind of services, what your price points are. So planning is everything. But don't operate in fear, because you'll never, ever get to where it is that you're trying to get. You'll never do what it is that you're trying to do. And you'll be 5 years into business and still sitting at your job going, I'm going to quit one day. And you'll still be sitting there 5 years more and 5 years more, sitting on your potential and sitting on your gifts.
Yes, that's so true. And we've talked a little bit about time management, about balancing your bookkeeping, using virtual assistants, building your dream team. Can you tell us a little bit about Carter Evans Services? What do you provide to the entrepreneurs? Because I understand that you help individuals with building their team.
So Carter Evans Services is actually a virtual assistant company and consulting company. So what we do is help make businesses SAD in a good way. So SAD stands for streamline, automate, and delegate. So we talked about earlier delegation, of course. We talked about automation. Streamline it is the simple is simply making things easier and cutting down some of the steps within a process to make things flow a lot better. So what we do is we assist in streamlining some of the processes of your business so that they work a little smoother, they work a little more effectively, so that we can figure out how to automate. And once things are automated, it's so much easier for you to be able to delegate those things that are left that needs to be managed, that those administrative tasks or whatever the case may be. So we assist with that aspect of things, and then we assist heavily on the delegation part. So just like we were talking about all of the many hats that you can hire a virtual assistant for, our team of virtual assistants does everything from general admin all the way to web design. So our job is to support business owners in their business so that you can be more successful, so that you can scale, you can increase your productivity, and you can therefore increase your profits. So that is our job, is to support our business owners, because when business owners are able to scale and become successful, it makes our business more successful as well.
Wow. Wow, that's really important. And you also have a free gift for our audience. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and how can they get a hold of this?
Yes. So right now I am giving free complimentary consultations. So I will take a look at what your business model is. I'll take a look at what your processes are, and things that you can do better and streamline, automate, and delegate. And I am giving those consultations away for free to all of the listeners today. If you book a session at my website, sandyevans.me. So all you have to do It is automated. It's click the link and book a time that works best for you. I'll sit down with you and we'll have a chat and figure out how you can be a better boss in your business.
That's fabulous. And you spell it SandiEvans.me. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So just want to make sure the audience knows it's Sandi with an I, Evans.me. And she's going to help you really get clear on helping you with where you need to streamline, where you need to automate, and how she can help you with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it is key for 2018 that you take the time to automate so that you can increase those profits, so that you can stop working in your business and work on it. We are bosses, and we can't be sitting and dealing with paperwork all day if we want to successfully grow and build the empires that we were meant to build.
Absolutely. Sandi, this has been phenomenal. We're just about at the end of the time for the Wealthy Wednesday show. Is there any last tips that you would like to tell our audience before we say farewell?
I would just say, don't be afraid to delegate, and don't be afraid to outsource, because even though these are our babies, these are businesses, we have birthed them, you're only hindering yourself if you try and do everything in your business. It is an absolute recipe for disaster to do so, because you're going to fall short somewhere, and you're going to make a costly mistake eventually. So as hard as it may be, as super as you are, it is okay not to be able to handle everything yourself. Don't be overwhelmed by your business. Reach out for help, whether it be to collaborate with someone, whether it be to barter services, or whether it actually be to outsource to someone else. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to give some of those overwhelming tasks over to someone else so that you can grow.
Wow. And I have to personally say that when I started delegating my tasks, I was able to really start growing my business and being able to scale it. So don't be afraid if you need a little bit of help, even if it's just for a few hours a week. Just get the help that you need so that you can scale your business and move forward. So thank you, Sandi, for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. This has been awesome. You have given so many tips and strategies, and I'm sure there's individuals who are still writing away and taking notes. So this has been a phenomenal, phenomenal interview with you. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Luci, for having me. It has been wonderful and a pleasure. I just appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I want to say thank you to my guest and my listeners. You are the reason why I have the Wealthy Wednesday show every single week. And 2018, we have some phenomenal changes coming up that's going to be empowering and inspiring for you. So stay tuned to the upcoming Wealthy Wednesday show. And make sure if you're listening to us on YouTube, you hit the subscribe button and you leave comments below so that I know what you're looking for. If you'd like to get a hold of me, if you're looking for a wealth vibe upgrade, if you need a little bit of energy work to get your business going and you've tried everything else, give me a call or shoot me an email. You can find my information on my website at Luci with an I, Luci, McMonagle, that's McMonagle.com. And I'm looking forward to empowering you so that you will be able to create the legacy that you desire. Until next time, abundant blessings.
Thank you for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle. I am the Mystic Wealth Creator, a mentor for conscious women entrepreneurs, helping them create more freedom in their business through conscious wealth creation. I would love to extend to you a free gift. And all you need to do is go to my website at lucimcmonagle.com. That's LuciMcMonagle.com. MONAGLE.com to get your free gift. So until next time, abundant blessings.